Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 53 in my Automate Everything Minecraft series. In today's episode, I am going to be diving back into the mod NuclearCraft so that hopefully I can build a nuclear fusion reactor. Now, fusion reactors provide quite a bit of power, even more than the fission reactors, at least they can. So let's take a look at what we need. First off, we'll need this fusion core, and that's one thing I don't really have yet. Let's see what all... Okay, so I do have everything, it looks like automatable. So let's just go ahead and make this pattern and find a place for it and then request it. For right now, let's just request one. We will be able to use more of these in the future. I think I'm going to build several of these. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, there are lots of different recipes that we can use in the fusion reactor. However, some of them are not really even viable, and some of them are barely viable, whereas there are a few different recipes here that provide a lot of power. And unfortunately, this doesn't tell you exactly how much power each reaction can do or can make, but I do know that deuterium, oh my goodness, I can't pronounce things, deuterium and tritium here, they provide the most amount of power, but there are other viable options that I can look into. And since it's raining, I'm going to go ahead and take a snooze. But anyways, I think first off, I might go ahead and make a hydrogen-hydrogen fusion reactor. The thing is, this won't be a super powerful reactor because hydrogen and hydrogen is not... okay, that's cool. Anyways... Hydrogen and hydrogen are not the best fuels. However, hydrogen is probably by far the easiest thing to get, other than maybe lithium and boron for someone like myself who has millions of each of the ores, 2.5 million boron, and probably similar as far as lithium. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to do hydrogen and hydrogen as my fuels. If I remember right, it will require quite a bit of hydrogen to keep the reactor going, but that's something we'll worry about when we get there. Next off, we need to make some more stuff here. So we need the fusion electromagnets. Let's go ahead and make those automatable, and then yeah, let's go ahead and use this recipe. Let's see if I can't. I do want some of them to be clear just so I can see the fluid. Last time I actually played with this mod on my own and played with the fusion reactors, they did not have these transparent blocks. So it's cool that I will be able to see the plasma from now on. In addition, I will need to make these fusion connectors here. So let's go ahead and do that. One more thing I will need is some power. And that is because nuclear fusion reactors need a bunch of power to essentially be jump started. They need to be heated up to a certain point. And so I'm going to use capacitors to do that. And 99 of them should be more than enough. So let's go ahead and drop these things in here. I think that's just about all I need as far as blocks. So let's get cracking. Let's tell the system to make a bunch of these. To be honest, I have no idea how many of these I want. So let's go ahead and tell the system to make 150 of the clear ones. Oh wow, that's going to take a little while. So let's tell you that, and then tell you something like 500. I did have some tough alloy apparently, but definitely not nearly enough. I'm going to need, yeah, a lot. So in the meantime, I can start to set a few things up, and I actually have a building all ready for this. For fusion reactors, and that would be this building right here. Now this building is a little bit oddly shaped because I know that I'm going to need some machines to make hydrogen and maybe even deuterium should I so choose. So I have an area for those machines. I also have a nice basement underneath, and so we're going to be using at least some of this space, if not all of it, for processes to help me get a fusion reactor up and going. Anyways, so I need to find a center-ish point in the room. This wall does have a center point. It would be along this column of blocks, I guess, right here. Not really columns as it's on the floor. But anyways, there's not really a true center over here as it would be between these two blocks. So I just need to choose one of them and put down my fusion reactor core. So I'm going to choose this block right here. And this is a one block that's a multi-block. And as in it takes up more block space than just one block. I think it's 3 by 3 by 3. But anyways, it has a lot of things here. So I think these 2 bars right here are the insert tanks, and then these 4 bars over here are the extract tanks, because if we take a look, we'll have two things that we insert, and then 4 things that come out. Now, a lot of these recipes only have 1 or 2 things that the fusion process actually makes. So like this one, for example, only makes deuterium. I don't know why I can't say that. But there are some recipes, like the 2D recipe right here, that makes hydrogen, tritium, helium-3, and neutron fluid. I know tritium and helium-3 are very good fusion fuels, so that would be a good fusion process to do. And I know this right here is a pretty good combination of fuels as well. This, like I said earlier, is the best, but we don't really need to worry about that quite yet, as we still need to make quite a few things before I can even get a reactor going. So while we have all of this crafting, let's see what else we're going to need. Obviously, we're going to need our fusion fuels. So let's see here. If I really wanted to, I could take a hydrogen tank from when I started doing my fission over here. I wanted to oxygenate the fuels, so I actually have a bunch of hydrogen laying around, and I have this wall all torn up as I was doing some stuff behind it. But anyways, I do have a lot of hydrogen right here. I think I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to make systems over here to produce hydrogen separate of that system right there, because I mean, there's quite a bit of distance between the 2 spaces. And like I said, I'm probably going to need a lot of hydrogen to run a hydrogen fusion reactor. So I might as well just make it over here. And I have the area to do so. So like I said, I think over here, let's set up some machines to make some hydrogen. So obviously we're going to need some water. Oh my goodness. And unfortunately, does this use it does not use tough alloy, or does it? It does not. Okay, so cool. So I'm gonna make I'm not sure how many of these infinite source blocks. I honestly don't know how much water the electrolyzers really use, and the electrolyzers are the machines I will be using to actually make the hydrogen. So let's actually make those first. Electrolyzers, and let's do 20 if we can. I'm worried that I'm going to need some tough alloy, and I will, of course. So you know what, for now I'm going to cancel these other 2 crafting recipes so that I can get my electrolyzers. And in the meantime, let's also tell my system to make some water. So, or some infinite water blocks. For right now, let's do 4, and I kind of hope that's going to be enough. Really have no idea if it will or not, but I'm going to wait for some of this stuff to craft up, because obviously there's not a whole lot I can do without the machines and components I need to build this out. So once some of this stuff is all built, I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and I do have my electrolyzers done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them, actually before I place them, I'm going to go ahead and destroy these blocks right here, because I will be running my, I guess, water conduit underneath. So I'm just going to place a bunch of electrolyzers here. I'm not apparently 12 of them. So in the meantime, I also need to get them power. So how I plan to do that is through the backside here, and this building is made out of cobalt that has been chiseled, and I think it looks pretty cool. Normal cobalt blocks, in my opinion, don't look great, but I think this looks pretty good. So, and I just like the blue mixed in with everything else I have. So anyways, what I'm going to do is let's run some energy conduit from under there, and that can be, we need some flux duct for that. And since these things do absolutely drink power, let's hook this up like so with the infinite flux duct here. And then in addition to that, we can use covers to spruce this up and make it look nicer. And then we'll have to do the same thing from the interior. Oh, whoops. Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that's all spruced up. We do need to set up a power system in the basement here. And like I said, the reactor here uses a lot of power to get jump started. Not to mention this, these machines over here are going to use a lot of power. So I think I'm going to set up a capacitor to essentially manage the power in this building, or at least manage the incoming power, I should say, because a lot of the power will actually be outgoing. So I think to do that, I'm going to set up a capacitor, and I'm not exactly sure where I want this. You know what? I want it right here, because this is a false wall, and we can get rid of it. So I think what we can do is we can go ahead and... Okay, so the front of the wall should be something like right here. And this can just be kind of a giant capacitor. I don't think I have enough capacitor blocks to actually make this completely solid as of right now. Actually, I might. I don't know, sometimes math is hard. So there's always that. Before I go further, I'm going to take a wrench and do this, because that needs to be... Oh, that's not right, because that's going to be where the water's coming from. The power's going to be coming from over here. So what I can do for the power, actually, is... go over here somewhere. Yes, that'll work perfect. So I still need to wrench this to be output, but we should be able to hook up right here to our capacitor. So that should provide power for all of that. We're gonna need some stone. And let's finish building this capacitor. And it looks like I will have enough blocks here, which is fantastic. This is a very large capacitor. But I have an even larger capacitor set up for my main grid outside. So what I want to do with the faces here is, let's say along the left side we're going to have a power meter showing how full this capacitor is. And then on the, let's say, right side somewhere, let's do this. I think if I do this, I can make it very big. I think this looks cool. I really like Ender.io and how they did this. So let's see if we can't make it even bigger. See, like, to me, that's awesome. That just looks cool. And then I'll be able to just come down here and I'll see the statistics for this particular capacitor. That's just really, really nifty. And I think, I want to say Crazy Pants is the modder who makes Ender.io. But anyways, well done on his part, because I really like that feature. Anyways, so let's get some energy upgrades here. So, not energy upgrades, I think it's speed upgrades. And let's go ahead and get rid of some of the stuff we don't need at the moment. And I'm not sure... Okay, so 40 RF per tick. What would happen if I do this? 22,000 RF per tick? That's a little steep. What about 20? Can we do 20? Yeah, I think we can do 20. It's still a little steep, but that should provide us a good amount of hydrogen. Having a bunch of these guys with 20 speed upgrades each. Okay, so if I split this up, only a few more to go here. Okay, so okay, that should be good. And of course we need to connect this capacitor up to the capacitor in the basement here to my main system outside. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, this capacitor will be inserting. So I think, how do I want to do this? Let's run it up here. And once again, there's another fake wall. Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is still doable. What we can do is route this around. So we're going to need some more flux duct. We're going to need some more stone to make this pretty again. And then we're going to need some, not facades, but covers. Some stone covers. So I want to make this an insert only. And then this can run across the room like so. And then in the street outside, once again, there is a hookup for power. So that's good. Oh, I did not mean to go up the elevator. So I think how we're going to do this is this right here will be an output only. And then we can hook the flux duct up. Like so. Okay, let's see how much energy this thing will drink in right now. That's awesome. That's huge. Wow, this thing's filling quickly. I think that's just because the capacitor outside should always be full. And yeah, it has a lot of power in it. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is let's facade this up real fast. And to make this easier, I often get rid of that block and then put it back. And then let's do the same thing over here. Perfect. And then let's grab some stone. Let's actually do this to make things a little bit faster here. Oh, I did that wrong. Whoops. What I meant to do was take this block away so that I can more easily do that. And then won't need to do anything over here because this is kind of a false wall. So if I do that, everything should look all fine and dandy. And over here, do this. You know what? Let's go ahead and facade this. I actually will have... This won't even be... This will all be covered anyways. Okay, so there's that. Next, I need to get water into all of these things. So I think my water should be done, or my dense water generators, whatever they're called. These guys, they are done. So let's get some fluid duct. And let's get the good kind. I think that this will auto-eject into the fluid duct. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think so. So let's go ahead and place... Okay, so we're going to place these down here. I'm not sure what interval to use. Oh, there's flux duct there, which means I can't put it there. I can put it here, though. Sorry, Mr. Flux Duct. And then let's do here. And I think that should provide enough water for these electrolyzers. They don't operate super fast, but they do need quite a bit of power. So let's see if we have enough of these semi-laminar fluid duct. Let's see if this actually works like it should. It did. So it will carry the water. That's fantastic. Looks like we should not have any problems with this. Okay, so once again we can use covers to make this look all nice and tidy. And if we travel upstairs, we can actually see how much water we're actually, or how much stuff we're actually making. And we're going to need to pump all of this stuff out. So we have hydrogen, deuterium, oxygen, and that's it. So we're going to need at least 3 tanks here. What I think... I think I'm going to use kind of the same system as I have... where I have my other electrolyzers over at my fission area. I think I'm going to use the ender... I forgot what it's called. I know it's a conduit of some type. The ender fluid conduit. And that I'm just using this because it allows multiple fluids to be used in the same line. If I used regular fluid duct, I would have issues because I'm trying to extract 3 different fluids through the same fluid duct. So also I'm going to need some tanks. Not dense tanks. I need some black hole tanks. And that's because they can just hold so much fluid. So right now, what I can do is set up these 3 guys over here. In the future, I'll probably have more tanks along this wall, but for right now, we'll just have these. In the meantime, let's tell these to insert only. And I'm also going to need some fluid filters here. So I think I'm going to need 3 of these. Okay, so that was nice and easy. So let's put one in here. Configure it to say, actually, Ender IO once again is very, very good in that we don't actually need a bucket. We can just say, okay, we need, actually, I want to do this in reverse. I want to do deuterium here. Okay, so it should only allow in deuterium. This one I want to be hydrogen. So let's type in hydrogen. And then the far one to the left here can be the oxygen. So this is the proper hydrogen. Hydrogen goes in here. And then this can be oxygen. And we need to make sure it's the right oxygen. I almost chose the NuclearCraft 2 oxygen, which would not be ideal. Anyways, how I think I'm going to do this, and it's not going to look the best, but we'll just do kind of a loop up here. And then right here, we can just run these along here. And quickly, off camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these to all be extract only, always on. And once I have that done for all of these, I will be right back. And here we are with all of the electrolyzers are running. It looks like everything's working smoothly. I have my oxygen, hydrogen, and deuterium here. So the next thing I need to do is I need to actually build out the reactor. And to do that, we need to essentially choose a size first. And I think for right now, I'm just going to build a small one. I will probably expand this between episodes, but for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and make a small reactor. So this should be what is considered a toroid size 3. So let's go ahead and build this out. How we build this is, however big you want it, you choose essentially how wide you want your ring to be. And then you need to get these fusion connectors and put the same amount on each side. And then we take our first... or we take a bunch of fusion electromagnets, and we make a ring here. And we're actually going to have to make 4 rings. The first one will be directly connected to the fusion connectors, like so. And then the second ring will need to be on the floor. Essentially, we're going to be creating a giant tube where the fusion plasma is going to be. And that will be... whoops. That needs to not be here. Okay, so that's the second ring. The third ring will be on the outside here, so we need to actually delete this block. And it should, the shapes should start coming together if you've never used this mod before, or built a fusion reactor in this mod before. The plasma is going to be in this like trench here, between all of these electromagnets. Okay, so that's looking good. And then lastly, we're going to do on top here, and that's where I'm going to place the see-through blocks. Actually, first I need to do that. And these operate in the same capacity as the non-see-through blocks. It's just you can see through these blocks. So that's cool. We'll be able to see the plasma once this reactor is up and going. We're almost there. Perfect. Okay, so electromagnet's not powered, and that's to be expected as I don't have any power sources. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to power the electromagnets with RTGs. Rather than actively powering them, I can power them with RTGs, and I should never have to worry about their power, because these RTGs provide 400 RF per tick. I think the electromagnets use 50 RF per tick. So yes, and each RTG should be attached to no more than 2 of the electromagnets. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to essentially just, whoops, stupid torches, do this all the way around. And I should have way more power for my electromagnets than they need, so that's cool. And I will never have to worry about them running out of power, because these will never stop providing power. Okay, so lastly I need to do the same thing here. And I might need a few more. Oh, no, I don't. I did grab 2 stacks of them. I forgot that. Okay, so that should be power for all of them, I think. Except for these corners here. But if I remember right, these electromagnets can actually spread power. Do they need to be hooked up a certain way? Because it does not look like the transparent electromagnets are getting power right now. Whereas the... Oh, maybe it's just because they're waiting. Because as we see here, these electromagnets aren't quite full yet. Okay, so unfortunately... Well, we'll see here. Looks like they have a little power. Okay, it's happening. It was just filling the buffer of the other electromagnets. I think that was what was going on there. Maybe. Oh shoot, I don't have a ceiling here. Totally forgot that. Okay, so we're just about there. Actually, you know what? This might take another minute or 2. So I'm going to be back when all of the electromagnets have some power. So I've gone ahead and I've changed my plans for the powering of the electromagnets here, and that's because I don't know what was really going on, but I was not able to get power to these corner blocks. Even if I put down a few more of the RTGs, they still did not want to receive power. So I'm going to go ahead and just hook it up to my capacitor, I think, and using flux duct, the Cryo-Stabilized flux duct here. So hopefully once I do that, I won't have any power issues. So let's just go ahead and do that real fast. So we just need to make a ring here and a ring in the bottom. That corner block right there might have some issues getting some power. But if that is the case, we can do something about that. Okay, so that's cool. Let's set up a few torches in here. Just to brighten things up just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and connect these two power lines to each other. And let's do it right here, I think. And that's fantastic. And the next thing we can do is we can run this over. And I don't actually want to connect it to that. What I want to connect it to is this capacitor. You know what? We can do that, I think, by doing this. Okay, so there should be power over here. I know I've created somewhat of a mess here, but hopefully this all gets powered all right. Now, once again, these corner electromagnets don't, for whatever reason, they don't like to accept power like the other ones do. Because normally the power just kind of spreads along the electromagnet here, even if you don't have all of them hooked up. But the corners, for whatever reason, they don't want to do that. So I think I might have to power them a little more directly. If I do something like this, I think it should work. Yes. So I think that's just what I'm going to go ahead and do. It's kind of unfortunate that I have to do this, but whatever. And it's also unfortunate I can't aim. Unfortunately, since this has taken so long to set up, I don't think I'm actually going to have time to power this up. Yeah. Okay, so I have a basic reactor, and it's getting ready to be ready to go, I guess. But I still need to do a few more things before I can actually get it up and running. And it's already kind of late. So what I'm going to do is, in the next episode, I'm going to pump in some hydrogen. I'm going to get this thing going. Hopefully, after that, I can build a bigger, better reactor. I will very likely even tear down this or part of this reactor and build it bigger, because there is obviously more room down there for a bigger reactor. But anyways, definitely going to be continuing this in the next episode. In today's episode, I managed to build some basic infrastructure for so that I can make a fusion reactor and more fusion reactors in the future. I have a bunch of stuff over here, some hydrogen right here, and some deuterium. Both of those are fuels that I can use in fusion reactors. And then I have this fusion reactor, which is essentially, it's ready to go. It just needs some hydrogen, and it needs some power to kickstart, and some sort of mechanism, I guess, to make sure it doesn't overheat or get too cold. But anyways, I can deal with that in the future. If you liked today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you enjoy automation and modded Minecraft, that's usually what I do, so definitely consider subscribing to my channel. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.